In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create this amazing injury analysis dashboard. So this is a dashboard we built in Power BI. And as you can see, this dashboard is very, very responsive. And the advantage of Power BI is the fact that when you click on any of the visuals, it's going to filter the report entirely. So as you can see, like once we click here, everything filters. So basically, we are looking at the total injuries, the lost work days, percentage of unsafe acts, the percentage of unsafe conditions, the incident types, the injury types, the lost work days by department, the body parts injured in terms of percentages, and then the injury by age. So the interesting thing you need to take note of within this dashboard is the fact that we're able to estimate the maximum and the minimum value with different colors, and that is what analytics is all about, being able to visualize or highlight a pattern so that people can see at glance what exactly it is. So we can tell that operations is leading with 40 lost work days, whilst maintenance sort of recorded the lowest lost work days, which is the best actually. And then we can tell the percentage. So with this one, we didn't show maximum and minimum. However, we show the maximum and minimum for this one. So the age group 20 to 29 is recording the most injuries. All right. So let's just recognize the fact that this is actually the Power BI version. However, we did make the Excel version, that is this one. So between the two, you can tell me which one you think is the nicest. All right. So basically, we're gonna dive into how to create this dashboard. But before we really get into that, I just want to quickly introduce you to our data academy. That we have a data academy that we use to support safety professionals who want to build career or want to build skills in HSE data analytics. Basically, learn how to use the data tools like Microsoft Excel and Power BI. So we run weekly boot camps, we do live coaching, we use real world data sets. We do this on a weekly basis. We make sure it is to your convenience. We make sure it is career driven. All right. So we have a one-on-one coaching session, which is for a 7-day period. However, we do consider group classes as well. The only challenge is that the group class doesn't come as frequent as you want, and for that reason, if you want to explore opportunity to do a group class, you want to make sure you join our community so that you can actually be part of a group, potentially join a class. So what is happening is that basically the group class is much more cheaper, which is 1,200. However, for the one-on-one, it's 3,000 cedis or $350. All right. So basically, you're learning Microsoft Excel. You're learning a lot of details about Microsoft Excel. We are doing introduction to data analytics in health and safety. You're looking at the sources of HSE data, examples of HSE data set, and introduction to Microsoft Excel. And then we look at a lot of interesting things that's going to make you an Excel savvy or Power BI savvy by the end of this training. All right. So the advantage is that the live sessions or the live bootcamps that we do every week is basically to support you to practice every week. And for that reason, you want to be part of our community, right? So we have a data community where we support each other and we are creating a challenge. The challenge is the fact that we want to create dashboard every week so that you can hone your skills and you can be exposed to a lot of data challenges or data problems that we need to be solving. And that is exactly what I've observed personally, that every time I create a new dashboard, I encounter a different problem which I need to solve. So you may want to join our community. So without wasting time, let's quickly get on to the project. I already have the project in our project folder, so I'm just going to open the Excel sheet for us to see the data set. So we have all of this data set. Basically, it's all about injury classification, and we have the dates, the employee, the gender, the age group, the department, the injury type, the severity, the body part, the lost work days, and underlining causes. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to be grouping the age into age groups, and we're going to be renaming the severity into incident types because we have medical treatment injury, we have first aid. These are all injury types. All right. So we're going to be loading this into Power BI. But before that, let's look at the project requirements. All right. I think I didn't put that in here. All right. So that's basically the same requirements that we used for last week, because last week was an Excel version of it, right? So the project requirement you're looking to answer some key questions, right? You want to know what is the total injuries recorded, what are the total lost days, what is the percentage that are due to unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, what types of incidents are resulting in the most injuries, and which department recorded the most lost days, which body parts are mostly injured, what is the percentage of contribution of each body part, what is the injury breakdown by gender, and what is the injury breakdown by age. All right, so that's pretty much what we are going to be answering. All right, so let's quickly open our blank Power BI template, right? So basically, if you want to have a blank sheet like this, you just have to open the app, and then once this pops up, you save it, right? You want to make sure that you save your work. So you want to save it in ahead of time so that you have the file name already on your computer. So we're going to import data, and the data we're going to import is an Excel, basically an Excel data set. Okay. So we go to where the file is. I think it should be tutorial project, right? So I just click on it and I load it into Power Query. So the file is in use. That means we've opened the file, and this is something I always forget. In the last video, I forgot as well. So let's just close it, because you want to make sure the file is closed before you be able to load it into Power BI. All right. So we are loading the data now, but before we load, we want to make sure we transform the data. So we just click on the sheet. There's only one sheet within the workbook. All right. So we just click on this one, and we click on transform. All right, so we are going to move very fast because we've already done data cleaning of this from our previous video. So we'll quickly, basically confirm the date format. So the date is in the correct date format. There's 100 distinct values, 100 unique values, so there's no issues with it. We don't have any percentage error or any empty sort of percentages in here. So everything is valid, which is very, very good. Employee, we have 100% valid entry in there. So we have valid percentage all throughout, 100% all throughout, which is good. Over here we have 17 distinct, 2 unique. So what it means is that 2 of them have appeared just once. And the 17 distinct, which are different values, are 17 in number. So that is okay. There's no issues with it. So I think that we are good. The only thing we need to do is that we want to make sure we change the severity to incident type. Okay, so this is just inferring from our previous video with regards to data cleaning. You can go and have a look at it. So what we are going to do is that we're going to basically click on this column, and then we go to add column, and we're going to click on add conditional column. So the conditional column is the fact that we are going to be working on the age, and say if the age is greater than or equal to 50, it should give me about 50. And then if the age is greater than or equal to 40, it should give me 40 to 49. If the age again is greater than or equal to 30, it should give me 30 to 39. Or else it should give me 20 to 29. All right. So whenever we are creating conditional column, you want to make sure we start from the highest. So in descending order, once you click, it's going to create another column for us, and this column, as you can see, okay, so I think I made a mistake. I didn't write above 50, I just wrote above. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just transform and replace value, and then the above that we have there, I'm going to write above 50. Okay, so that's just correcting that. So basically we have 40 is between 40 to 49, 29 is between 20 to 29, 26 is between 20 to 29, and 54, 52, 52 are all above 50. So that's okay. So I just name this and call it age group. All right. Okay. So that's pretty much what we are supposed to be doing here. So let's quickly rename our table, because the table is going to be named as source data. I'm going to be referencing that in our DAX measures that we'll be doing. So let's just name that for now, and we're going to be filtering the report by department. So we're going to create another table. We're going to create a duplicate of it, and we would simply remove other columns. Right, so we come to the department and we click on remove other columns. Okay, right click and remove other columns, and then we would remove duplicates to make sure it's a distinct value or unique value, right? Unique value, because they're all supposed to be appearing just once. I'm going to call it department. Okay. All right. So we're going to load all of this. We go to home and we click on load and apply. So that's going to load our data into the data model. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to create our calendar table. So when it comes to creating calendar table, there is a DAX measure that is already available, which we've been using from time to time. So basically, you don't have to always be creating DAX measure from scratch. We just have to copy our measure for calendar table. So we come to model, we come to new table, and then we just paste in our DAX measure for calendar. So let me just copy it properly. And I'm going to explain what exactly it is. Okay. So let me just overwrite this. So basically, we are saying that the calendar table should be equal to, that's add columns. So we are creating a new table, which we call add column, and the function, and then the reference is basically calendar should auto populate. We are adding columns which we call calendar table, and it should auto populate based on these column headers. So the year based on the year format, the month is based on the month format, the month number is basically the month number referencing the date, the quarter formatted is formatting the date to give us the quarter number of the date, and then the year month also based on the format of year month referencing the date. So that's pretty much what it is. We enter our DAX measure and that creates our calendar table. So when we come to table view, you see the calendar table, and as per what exactly we saw, that the calendar table should auto-populate the dates. It should give us additional columns, which is the year, the month number, the quarter, and then the year month, right? So that's pretty much it. So we come to the model view, and we begin to establish the relationship. So this is our, okay, so let's, let this vanish a little. So this is our source data, which is our fact table. And then there's a department, which is the dimension table. And this is used to filter this. So the direction, the cardinality is coming from the one unique list, which is one. And then there's many of the occurrence, so one to many relationship. And this one as well, we connect the date to the date over here, all right? And this is also filtering this. So it's going to be like one to many relationship, all right? Now the reason why we are having the direction going both ways, as you can see, the arrow is going both ways, simply because this one also has unique list of dates. This one has unique list of dates. So the relationship is supposed to be, let's go to properties. It's supposed to be one to many relationship, but it's actually one to one relationship. One to one because it's a unique list of dates. Though we're going to use this to filter, but then in real case scenario, you're going to have the dates happening many times, okay? So that is okay, no issues at all. As long as we can be able to use this to filter this, we are good, all right? So we quickly come to our report view, and what we're going to do is that we're going to change the canvas size, all right? So go to canvas setting and change the size. So we choose custom, all right? We're going to make it 1920 by no, let's go to 1080 by 1920, right? 1080 by 1920. So that is a standard size of PowerPoint. So we can actually want to have a wider view of our report. So we don't want to make it look too small. We want a lot of space to work with. That's the reason why we increase the size of the page. And again, we can literally, use an Excel sheet. So we're gonna go to our dashboard layout. So we have a lot of dashboard layouts that we've designed. We have a lot of them, so there's no need to start from scratch. Let's quickly go to the wireframe that we used, and let's see if we can create another version of it. All right, so we have a lot of wireframes. Sometimes we want to be very proactive. You don't have to start from scratch creating wireframe. We have all of them here. So which one did we use? We used this was it this one? We use this one. So this is the wireframe that we use. Okay, so let me just Control C, and I will open a new basically a new PowerPoint slide. All right, and let's go to the page design. Let's go to the page size, right? Custom size. With this one, you cannot calculate exactly what 1080 by 1920 is. So let's just ignore. As long as this fits in there, that's fine. All right. So I think that 16 by 9 is okay. So let's just stick to that. So basically, how did we create this wireframe? Now we are trying to move very fast. All right. So this wireframe, we want to make sure we import it in there. So when we start creating our visuals, we're already running. Okay. So I'm just going to hit equal, create another slide. And I'm going to show you how we created this wireframe. All right. So first and foremost, we have a background color. So we go to insert. We sort of, bring in all of these. And then the color there was blue. So we can just use the color picker, paint, the format painter to bring in the color. And then we have this rounded rectangle, right? So we go to insert. All right. And then we bring in our rounded rectangle. So the rounded corner is not too wide. All right, so we just want to keep it small. So that's basically, replicating what exactly we did. So let's have a look at something again. The format color is, let's pick the paint brush and paste over it. So this is basically the background that is behind it. Okay, we come over here again, there's another rounded corner, so let's just create a duplicate of it, and then we make it a little bit smaller to be within it. Okay, and this one, the color is gray, right? So we just click on it and paste in there. So that's a gray color. And then all of these are sort of other rounded corners, right? So we can insert another rounded corner. We could just Control C, Control V, and then we shape it a little bit. And then this one is white, so it's entirely white. So we come to home, we go to the color, or you just right click, format shape, right? And then we go to fill and we choose white. So that is white. So basically we will be creating a lot of visuals, right? So based on the number of visuals that we'll be creating, that is when we're gonna be creating the number of the layout to be based on the visual I'll be creating. So there's one section that has to do with the body part that was injured. So this one is gonna be a little bit up, and to come over here. Okay, and then we have all these other ones. So basically we can try to increase the rounded edge a little bit. Control C, Control V, and then we would increase it a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna sort of create duplicates of it. So the size should be the same, and the spacing should not be too big, and we're gonna resize it a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty much how we created the wireframe. So this is showing you how we create wireframe. All right, and it's really simple to do. Okay, it's really simple to do. So we want to make room for the other, okay, so I think we need to create more room. So this is like, we are trying to be very fast with it. Okay, we don't want to, okay, I think I created a duplicate of it. All right, so that is like the wireframe right there. And then let's see, we created all of these extra ones at the top. Control C, Control V. So those will be for the KPI cards. All right, Control C, Control V. Okay, so that is how simple it is to create this, as you can see. And then we brought this in there. So there's like another rounded rectangle. Okay, that is here. And then we brought in some shadow, and then we make sure that the rounded corner was wide enough. Okay, so we bring it in here a little bit. Okay, and then we simply bring in some shadow. So the shadow is like, you come to format and go to shape, effect, and go to shadow and add a shadow. All right, so that's pretty much it. As you can see, we use a couple of seconds to just create this wireframe. All right, so we already have a wireframe already. So let's just delete it. And this is the wireframe we're going to be using. So let's just save as. All right, so we go to save as, we come to browse, and then we go to it's going to pop up, right? So we have to change the file format to scalable vector image, and then we go to we'll save it somewhere on our desktop. So it's going to be injury dashboard. All right, and then we choose just this page, just this page. All right, so that's pretty much it. So we come to our dashboard, we come to the page background, and then we insert the background that we just created. So that's injury dashboard. Okay, and then we're gonna reduce the transparency so that we can see, and this is gonna fit. So we're gonna fit this to the background. So that is what we've done so far. Let's save our work and let's start to create our DAX measures. All right, so the first DAX measure we're gonna be creating is total injury. So let's go back to our project requirement. What is the total injuries? What are the total injuries recorded? So total injuries is basically the count of rows. We're going to be counting the number of rows within our table. When we go to the the data set within our query editor, we can tell that there is no empty row in here, so we can actually count the rows to imply That is our total injury, simply because every entry is to register an injury that has occurred with regards to, the workers, with regards to the department, all of that. So every entry is unique and distinct as well. All right, so let's close. And then before we start to create our measure, we want to organize our table very well. So let's just go to the home tab, click on enter data, and then we'll just name a table. We call it calculation, right? Calculations. So this is a calculation, basically table that we've created. All right, so the first measure we're going to be creating is total injuries. So total injuries is basically counting the rows, right? So we're going to use count rows. All right, equal sign and count rows of our source data. All right, so that's pretty much it. So the data type is going to be okay, so it's not showing me basically come to measure tools, right? And then we change the data site, and the data type is already whole number, so that has already been registered. Okay, so we are going to insert our KPI card. We're not going to use we are going to use a new KPI card. All right, so there's the old one and there's a new one. We're going to use a new one. Okay, and then because the new one allows us to, I think it allows us to remove the background. So let's have a look at it eventually, because there's a difference between the old one and the new one. But once we have a challenge, we just switch to the old one. So let's just keep it simple for now, because as you can see there, the background is sort of is not transparent, right? So we go to effects, we go to property, we go to effects, the general, you go to effects, and we undo the background. You should be able to sort of undo, right? So let's go and use the old KPI card, because that's much better. The old one will allow us to remove the background. So where is the old one? The old one. Oh man, I can't find the old KPI card. Okay, no issues at all. We're gonna still progress. All right, so let me just give it a label. We go to chart title, and then we call it total injuries, right? Let's name our measure very well. So there's total injuries. Okay, and we're gonna create another measure, and that's gonna be our lost work days. Okay, so let's go back to our project requirement and have a look at the next calculation, total lost work days. Now when we go into our transform data and we go to lost work days, okay, lost work days is over here. Lost days, they're all in number format, right? So for number data types, we're going to do a sum, right? So what we do is that we click on new measure and we call it lost work days. Is equal to sum, okay, sum of the source data, focusing on the lost days. So that's where we're going to be pulling this measure. Okay, so that's already been entered, and we can bring in the next card, which is lost days. So the new KPI card you can keep adding on, but we don't want to use that. I'll try to find the old one. Okay, so let's go to visuals again. Let's look for the old one. Get more cards, get more visuals. All right, so we cannot find the old KPI card. I think they've probably removed it or something. All right. Okay, so total injury is going to be here. I think we put it here, and then lost work days is going to be here. And then we're going to calculate the percentage unsafe acts, because that's the next measure we're supposed to be calculating, right? What is the percentage? What percentages are due to unsafe acts and conditions? So we create a new measure and we call it percentage unsafe acts. So we are going to do something interesting here. percentage unsafe acts. First and foremost, we are going to calculate, we're going to count. So every time we basically we are counting, right? We're going to count the source data unsafe acts. So we're going to be counting, hold on. We're going to be counting the source data unsafe acts, all right? But we are going to filter. So the calculator is used to introduce a filter context to the expression that we are trying to create. So we are saying that the source data should be equal to unsafe, sorry, not the source data. So we are going to count the underlying causes, but we are saying that calculate. So calculate is introducing a filter context where we say source data should be equal to unsafe acts. Okay. So hit OK. And that's going to give us, okay, it's going to give us a number. It's going to give us 53. Okay. But then we are going to estimate a percentage of it. So what do? Let's quickly use the variable function. Okay. So we are going to say, let's bring it down and say VAR. So VAR or variable is used to name a variable. It's literally used to name the variable. And we're going to call it unsafe act. So this unsafe act is equal to this. And then because we've introduced a VAR, we're going to use a return to close the argument, because every time you use VAR, a variable, you need to close it with a return so that we can use the new variable that we just created. So this variable, we call it unsafe act, right? So now we are going to say that divide unsafe acts, the variable that we just named, that's it right here, unsafe acts, by total injuries. Okay, to give us a particular number. So let's close the argument and we hit OK. All right, so that gives us a percentage. Okay, it gives us a percentage. So we change the text format to percentage, or the data format to data type to percentage. So that's right there on safe fact. Okay, now I want to do the same thing for safe conditions. So let's just copy the whole of this argument, right, or the whole of this expression, and then let's paste it right in there. We change this to condition. Unsafe condition, percentage unsafe conditions, or condition, whatever. And then we are going to call it unsafe condition. This is the name. Unsafe condition. This is the name of the variable. And then we are saying that it has to be if it has to filter by unsafe conditions. So that's literally what we have in here. And then the name of the variable is unsafe condition, and you should divide it by the total injury. So that gives us 53. So calculate. Okay, so let's have a look at it properly. Oh, so we're gonna let's select the new measure that we created. Okay, so we undo this and select this, and then the percentage is supposed to be the data type. The data type is supposed to be percentage, and then no decimal, please. Okay, that's it right there. So VAR unsafe condition, calculate the source data, underlying cause, but the source data should be equal to, the underlying cause column should be equal to unsafe conditions. So we are literally counting how many unsafe conditions are within that column. All right, and we divide the unsafe condition, because we've been able to name the variable unsafe condition, we divide that by total injury. So that's pretty much what we have. All right, so we can remove these things that keep popping up. So we've been able to establish our KPI cards. The next thing we're going to be doing is the body parts, right? So the body part, we already have the visual. Let's go and add our image. So let's go within our project, assets, right? Project assets. I already have them here. So we have our human body map, right? So it's a body map. You can find this on FreePick. So go to FreePick. I can show you right now. Go to FreePick, okay? Freepick.com. and go to freepig.com and you search human body, PNG, human body. So you're going to see a lot of them. Choose the one that is comfortable, you're comfortable with, right? Then there's the one that we chose, and we just cropped the other side of it. All right, so you can literally do the same things absolutely free. Okay, so we load it in here, and we now bring it. Now, because the background, we didn't remove the background is white, so we want to make sure that the background of our dashboard is white as well. So what we are going to do is that we're going to create the visuals for the body part. Okay, so we're going to create another table, right? Home tab, enter data, and then we create a new table, and this calculation for body parts. So we are doing this to organize calculations body part. We are doing this to organize our measures, right? So that one is for the other KPIs and this one is for the body part. All right, so if you want to see clearly, that's it right there. So the body part, we're going to create the measures for the body parts. But before we do that, we want to know what body parts are we trying to measure. All right, so let's try to bring in our visuals first. All right, so let's try to see the visuals that we're supposed to be bringing. We're going to have a visual for, let me have a look at the other project that we did. Okay, or let's try to look at the report. We already have it here, right? So the first visual, incident types. So the incident types, right? So the incident types, all we need to do is that we go to our source data and we check the incident types, right? We click on it, all right, and then we choose the total injuries. So it's gonna provide a table of our incident types with the total injuries right there, all right. And we're gonna change this to a donor chart. Okay, so this one will be a donor chart, which we will be cleaning very soon. Okay, the next one has to do with let's go look at it again. That is injury types. Okay, so injury types. So we check this, we click on a blank space, we click on injury types, all right, and then we select total injuries also, right? And this one is going to be pie charts. Okay, so that's injury types. Okay, and then this one is going to be let's go look at it again. Gender. So we select gender. Okay, gender, and then we bring in total injuries. Okay, so and then this one is going to be I think a pie charts. Okay, so let's check our visuals again. Right, so bar chart, pie chart, all of them are pie charts. Okay, now over here is gonna be let's look at it again. That is lost work days by department. So we click on department. Okay, and then we bring in our lost work days. Okay, and this one is a bar chart. Okay, clustered bar charts. All right, and then the other one has to do with body parts, the body part injured, which we would have to find percentage of it. Okay, so we'll be doing that very soon. So let's bring in the age groups. So age group and the total injuries. Okay, and this one also is a column chart. This one is a clustered column chart. Okay, now with regards to the body parts that have been injured, over here we're looking at the count of the body parts. Over here we're looking at the percentage of the body parts. All right, so what we're going to do is that we are going to estimate the measure for the body parts. Okay, all right, so the measure for the body parts, we need to estimate this in percentage. But first of all, let's bring in our body parts. Okay, we'll bring it in here. And then let's try to bring in our total injuries and let's see. So this one that we are seeing here, we want to convert all of them into percentages. However, unfortunately, we are not able to change, unlike pivot table, shows values. We can actually do show value as a percentage of the total, which is very, very simple. Show value as a percentage of the total. Similar to what we did in pivot tables, right? When we were working the pivot table. So that is very, very good. So the only thing we need to do is that we can sort of reduce the number of decimals. So we go to the values. Let's see where specific. column, body parts, percentage of total, and then decimals values. You try to remove the decimals. So that's what we've done right there. Okay, so this one is actually a bar chart, right? It's a bar chart. So we just check the bar charts, clustered bar charts. So that's pretty much what we have in here. Okay, and we are going to now work on enhancing the visuals. Okay, so let's try to remove basically the chart title. Remove the chart title. Okay, let's keep it there, and let's edit the chart title and call it incident type, right? So let's look at dates, right? So this is incident type, right? Incident types. This one is injury types. And then this one is gender, incident by gender, or injury by gender. Injuries by gender. Okay, this one is lost work days by department. That is already there. This one is body parts injured. And then this one is injuries by age group. Okay, injuries by age group. All right, so we are just going to make sure that we remove the title for the legends, right? So the legend, we don't need a title for the legend. We don't need the titles for the legend. So we just want to keep things clean. Okay, same with this one. Over here for the X and Y axis, we're going to remove the title. Okay, same with the Y axis. Oh, sorry, the X axis, remove the title. Over here, also the title here for X axis, remove the title. We do the same thing for this one. Okay, the Y axis, remove the title. So that's to keep it clean. And then we're going to increase the spacing because we can see it's too big. So we go to columns and go to layout, and then we increase it to say 50. Okay, 50 is not bad. And then this one also we increase it to maybe 40 because this one has a lot of the top. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, and same with this. So let's just make it the same, 50. Okay, but this one is still bigger a little. Okay, let's make it 40. So let's make it consistent. All right. And this one is okay. Now we are trying to enhance. We are coming to enhance the look of this. But before that, let's work on the count of the body parts. So we can see the body parts that have been injured, right? I think we just want. Let's try to remove the X-axis. Remove the values. Okay, let's remove the values, and then we bring in data label. So data label, we put it on. And then let's try to remove the percentage. These zeros, I thought we already removed it. Okay, so let's go to the values and the decimal. Let's make it 0. Okay, and it removes it. All right, so let's do the same thing for all of them. We remove the values. We bring in the data label, the X-axis, remove the values, and we make sure that the values are actually outside. So we go to the label, right? Data label, and we go to position, and let's say outside to the end. The same thing with this one, outside to the end. And this one also, let's on the data label. It's already outside, which is good. And let's remove the Y-axis, right? So we go to Y-axis and remove the values on the Y-axis. Okay, so that's to clean up this dashboard. Okay, so we are going to work on the body part that have been injured, as you can see. So let's go here and then start to calculate the body parts. So we start with the finger, right? So the finger, how many? So we are calculating for finger. So calculate, count, The source data, we are focusing on the body parts, okay. Oh, okay, so we don't have to close it, we are not done. Sometimes if you're not careful, so we're going to close this count, we're going to close it, and then we continue the argument and say source data body parts should be equal to finger, right? So every time you're writing a text, we need to make sure we put it in double quotation. All right, and we hit OK. This one, I don't know why it keeps popping up. So we've created a first measure for fingers. Let's delete this column that is in the table because we don't need it. Okay, so you have the finger. So the finger, I'm looking for the old KPI card. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it has vanished because there's the old one, which I need. Okay. It's like eventually Power BI has removed the old KPI card and the old card. The old card used to be there. It has vanished for some reason. It's crazy, but it's okay. Let's go with it. So Control C, Control V. Let's bring it here, and then let's select the finger. So let's undo this and select this one. So that's finger. How many for finger, right? But what we are going to do is that we don't need these labels for now. Okay, but I have to remove the background. So let me see what I can do. General effects and background should be off. Okay, let's see if the background is. So let's make it transparent. So the background is not off. Okay, now let's go to the card, and then the background for the card, let's make it transparent, or let's make it off. It didn't go. Border of image layout. So that is the whole point. It doesn't allow me to remove the background, and that is strange. Okay, when we go to card, we can literally change the color of the card anyway, like the background of let me just show you guys. If I come to this card, okay, I could change the background color. Okay, I could change the background color, and if I do transparent, it still gives me the white background, and that is something I don't want. Even though you can change the color, okay, but when you do zero transparency or 100% transparency, it doesn't take you to a transparent background. When we come to the general, the effect as well, even though you've off the background, you've offed it, it's still showing for some reason. And that is the reason why I don't like the new card for now, because what we are trying to do is that we want to make sure the background is transparent and we have the round parts, the round shape behind it. So this is, I don't know if there's a lapse with Power BI. They should do something about it. Okay, so I'll try to find the old card, because I need the old card. Okay, that's fine. So we'll work around it. Okay, so let's remove the the label for this card. Let's remove the label. Reference label is finger, right? Let's look at it properly. The reference label, call out value, and then the label is here. Let's remove it. So we have removed the label. I'll try to make it as small as possible so that our round shape will be there. Let's put it in the center, and let's see what we can do. It has to be in the middle up. Show blank as 0. So every time there's blank, to show as 0. The layout, it should be in the center. Okay. Finger, and it should be at the should be at the center. And then what else? Okay, that's fine, no issues. Okay, so let's just create the rest. All right, the rest. So just Control C, and then we go to calculate, and then we work for the other part. So that's finger, back, face, right? So let's continue with the back. So this is back. Okay, and we hit OK. So we just do Control C, Control V, and then we select the back. So the back is going to be somewhere here. This one is for finger, is going to be somewhere here. Okay, and then we continue with the next measure, Control. Okay, I don't want to do calculate again. So let's just look for the other measure that we created and just continue with it. So Control V, and this is going to be face. Okay, and we continue because we don't want to, basically miss or lose this copy feature that we just introduced. All right, and we're gonna go to head. All right, so head. And then we move on to hand. And then we're gonna move on to arm. Okay, arm. And then we're gonna move on to the leg, which is the last one. Okay, so that's it. We can then position them properly. So this one, Control C, Control V, this is gonna be for leg. Okay, so the leg is gonna be somewhere here, and we change it to leg. And then Control C, Control V, we have maybe the head is somewhere here. So say head. Control C, Control V, and the face. So let's take head a little bit up. The face is gonna be here. Control C, Control V, the back. So the back, which one is this? This one is the back, and then we're gonna do one for hand. Okay, so the hand is gonna be here. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A total of 7. Okay, we need the last one. So the last one has to do with the face, huh? Yes, face. So the face will be maybe here. Okay. Yes, and then we're gonna be connecting them with some lines. All right, so basically the rounded part that we introduce. Okay, so we just go to shape and we select the round. Okay, now the thing is that because we're unable to remove the background, I'll probably have to make it much bigger. And let's see, it didn't remove the background. If I send this to the back, so let's go to format and see, send it back, send it to the back, right? Send it to the back. You see this thing is not looking nice, right? It's not looking nice, and I'm not getting the option to remove the background, and that is weird for my liking. Like property, we go to effect, and then the background is off. It's already off. Okay, and we come to the visual also. The card, the background is on. Now it's off. It doesn't do anything. So everything is off. Images, we don't need any image reference, we don't need any callout value. That's a number there. Okay, so this is a bit strange. No wonder when I open the other pivot, the other Power BI template, it tells me there are some features that was built with the older version, and this is the latest version. So this latest version is not giving us the KPI cuts, that the old one where we're able to remove the background. So in order to avoid that, okay, let's make it box. Let's just maintain, the background. So let's just change it. All right, but before we do that, okay, we start working on some of the colors and everything. I just want to make sure that we are using the correct color scheme, right? So I'm gonna, go to color picker. So there's a color picker that I like to use, imagecolorpicker.com. All right, and this dashboard that we created, I'm going to use a snipping tool. Okay, and I'm going to sort of copy the entire dashboard, go here, and I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, so these are the colors that we're going to be working with. All right, so basically the color for this is blue, right? So this is the blue color that we are using. Control C, and then we come to visual, and then we go to the card background. We on the background, and then we change the color to this color. Okay, all right, and then the font, which is the callout value, is going to be white. So this is basically what we are going to be using. So I'll just copy this format, this format painter to, choose the correct color, right, for all of them. Yes, so the interesting thing is that we are not able to center it at the top, which is a bit strange, because when we come here, alignments, align to the top, that's actually for the, let me see, we can actually use a rounded rectangle, and then the rounded corner should be round. Okay, we are doing it, guys. So let's make it like this. Rounded is supposed to be like, yeah, so we are good. $30, so let's make it 30, but I don't know why I'm not able to position the text at the top. Okay, so it can only go to the left or right or the middle, but it doesn't go to center at the top. So that is a limitation again. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, so there is a limitation there with this. We are unable to use it to center at the top. However, if we're using the old card, we could remove the background. We could just put a shape at the background, and that's pretty much it. So let's sort of work with this for now. Okay, let's undo and then work with this one. Okay, using the paintbrush. All right, so this is okay. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to insert some, sort of another round. And this, round shape, we will make it a white fill and then position it, wherever it's supposed to be the part that has been injured. So we can actually come to property and then choose the correct. So let's say 15 by 15. Okay, and then the color is going to be the shape color. So we go to style and we choose white. Okay, so this one, we select it. I think we need to make it bigger a little so that we can move it around. So let's make it 20, and this one also 20. Okay, and then we can be able to move it around. All right, so this one is the face. Control C, Control V. This one will be like the finger. Control C, Control V. We have the the leg, Control C, Control V, we have the hand, Control C, Control V, we have the back, Control C, Control V, we have the arm, Control Z, Control V, and we have the head, right? And then the last one is gonna be like where again the back, the face, and the arm, and the finger, and the hand, and the head, and the leg. So we have done leg, we have done finger, we have done arm, we have done back, we have done hand, and then we have done face and head. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. That's 5. Okay, that's 7. We are done. All right, so that we are done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are literally done. So the next thing we do is that we just go to shape again, and then we use this arrow. Okay, so we just use this. Sorry, this line. So this is just a line, and we just use to connect all of them. All right, so that's pretty much it. So we just connect to it nicely. Control C, Control V. We connect to this. So in order not to distort the arrangement, we probably want to bring this one down a little bit. Control C, Control V, and this one will be for the head, right? Or the face. So this one is for the face. And this one is for the head. So we do one for head. Control C, Control V. Okay. Control C, Control V. This one will be for the face. So there's face. So this one is for which one? I did 2 faces. So I'm supposed to do one for this leg. This is hand. This is head. This is finger. This is face. So this one is for the face, or this one is for the face already. So we have the face here, and then the back. Oh my goodness. Am I missing something? Finger and the leg and the hand and the face. So which one have I missed? And the arm. So this is for the arm. So let's select the arm. Okay, so that's the arm. So this one can come down a little bit. All right, and then we do for the finger. Control C, Control V for the. So that's pretty much what we have. As we can see, we've been able to replicate it. This one has to, go back a little bit. All right, so we've been able to introduce the body parts that have been injured. Once we click on this, it should filter the report. So as you can see, it filters it, right? So what we're going to do next is that we're going to bring in the maximum and then the minimum, all right, using the color scheme that we've introduced. So basically, let's start working on, let's create our measure for the maximum of the, the body parts, all right? So the body parts, we could see that in our earlier charts. We could see that we have this transparent background, which is like the 100%. Okay, let's look at it from here. So this sort of percentage, which is 100, basically giving us some, some visuals showing that there's a maximum, which is the 100%, and these ones are like what is we are looking at. This is the main KPI, right? So let's go back, and then let's try to calculate, the percentage. So the percentage for the max is basically the fact that we divide the max by the max, right? So we divide the total injury. So we create a new measure and we say percentage total injuries, right? Or percentage of the max of total injuries. And then we're going to do that. We're going to say that divide the total injury by total injury. Okay. And just give us a percentage. So basically, we just bring in that visual, which is the max at the back. And as you can see, we've introduced a 100% in there. And then we just go to, bar charts and we see overlap. So we go to layout. And then we would say overlap. So we need to make sure that we overlap it. Okay, let's overlap and flip. Okay, but we're gonna flip it. So that's what we just did. We need to first and foremost ensure there's no spacing between the two series, and we just flip it. We overlap and we flip. Okay, and then we make sure that it is at all so that everything works together. So we come to the maximum, and the maximum, we're going to use the gray. So let's go to our color picker. Okay, and then select the gray color. So this is the gray color. Control C for the hex code. And then we come here and we sort of change it, right? So that's the gray right there. Okay, so we remove the data label. All right, remove the data label for it. When we're removing data label, we need to select the exact measured series that we want to remove the data label. All right, so let's go back to the the other one. So the other one is basically this deep blue color, right? So we go back to the bar and choose the other one. Okay, and then we would select the correct color. So that is pretty much it. Let's go look at it. So that's exactly it, right? Now the measure, why do we have percentage GT? I mean, it's not supposed to be percentage GT. Let's look at what's happening. Let's go. I think that total injuries, right? Percentage of total injury. Okay, so I think we renamed the visual, right? So let's remove this. Okay, percentage of total injuries. No, percentage of body parts. So let's rename it for the visual. Percentage of body parts. Percentage of body parts, or percentage body parts, I don't know, however you want to call it. Okay, rename percentage body parts, and then this one we call it max. We could choose not to even show it. Let's go to the other report and see. Okay, let's hide. You hide the legend. The legend, we don't need it. We hide the legend. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We've done that for this one. So now we're going to look at the maximum and then the minimum. Okay, so the maximum of this, all right, now this one we're looking at lost work days, and lost work days is actually the column is values. Okay, when we come here we look at the column for lost work days. Okay, it is actually numbers. So we're going to use the max function to calculate the maximum of this, and then what we are going to do is that we're going to identify the max and the min based on the column. All right, so based on the column. So let's start off with the first argument. Okay, so the first argument is a max function. All right, now in order for us to see it clearly, let's introduce a table. So let me just bring in a table over here, and the first is we want the lost work days for department, right? So lost work days for the department, and that is what we have there. So the department comes first, and that's what we have, right? We want to estimate the maximum and the minimum. So let's go to new measure, and we start with the max of department, right? Max of lost days for department. So max lost days, And then we're going to use the max function, right? So max x. Now the max x is used for row by row context, right? You could use the max, which is an aggregate function of the maximum. And if you want to see that, you can actually do that. So max of the column, right? So that's like a scalar value. So what is the max of lost work days? Okay, when we hit okay, we can find the max, and that's very, very simple. We get a scalar value. So let's just select a KPI card and select max, right? So max of lost work days. We get a max which is within the department. Okay. So this is not given as the correct figure, mass of lost work days. Okay, that's looking at the entire lost work days and giving us a max of it within it. But then again, we are trying to look at the department, which is like a categorical data. Okay, so in order for us to do that, we need to use the max x. So the max x is looking at basically is based on an expression, which is you're looking at all of the departments. Okay, the source data referencing the department. Okay, and then we want the mass of lost work days. Okay, now this will be the new max, and as you can see, the department, the max is sort of operations. So the max x now considers the row context of what we're trying to do, the fact that we're looking at department and now it's giving us a max value. However, unfortunately, when we apply this max to this, okay, so that gives us that. So now we have the max value. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we have the max value. All right, and then we are gonna do the min value. Okay, so we have the max value. We can do the min value as well. Then we will do the highlight. Okay, so let's go to main of the department. So minimum value of the department. Main of department. Okay, so how do we call it? Main of lost days for department. Main lost days for department. Okay, so we enter this there, and now we're looking at main x. All the source data lost work days. So this gives us the main value for department, and the main value is 24, as we can see. Okay, so we're going to enter a condition that says that if this is equal to this, it's to switch. If this one is equal to this, so it should switch. So we're going to use a switch function as opposed to if function. Now the switch function is to give us a text value because we're going to be entering the hex code that we need and all of that. So now we're going to create another measure that we call the max min highlight. Okay, max min highlight, and we're going to bring in these visuals in there to complete the argument. So let's basically work with this one rather. So let's go to the measure, and then we change it to max min highlight, department highlight. Okay, and then we're going to use a VAR, right? So we're going to enter this, and then we say VAR, and we call this one max department is equal to this, and we continue with the argument. We go to the next VAR main department is equal to the main value, right? So basically it's the same, this one, except that we change it to main x. Okay, and then we're going to use the switch function. So basically we need to return every time we use a VAR. We need to return. We are saying switch, right? Switch is like if statement, except that it's much simple, right? And then we continue, and we are saying that department. So we continue like lost work days. I want to see properly. Max department. So this new department, max department is equal to lost work day. Then it should return the hex code. So what is the hex code that we are using? The max value would have the hex code. So let's go here and select our hex code. That's this one. And put it in this double quotation. It should give us this. Then we go to the main. So we put the comma there and we go down and we say main department equal to lost like this. It should give us the main value. So the main value is, let's go back to our color picker and then go to the main value. So the main value is actually this one, the lighter one. Okay, is this one. So we go to our main value and we use a double quotation, we enter it there. Or give us the alternative. So what is the alternative? The alternative is the one in the middle. Control C, and we come here and then we would paste it in there. Double quotation, paste. Okay. All right, and then we close parentheses and hit OK. So that sort of gives us this variation that if this one is big, it should give us. So that's pretty much it, right? So let me just delete this one. We're going to use it as a text value. So this is now a text value. Main lost days, okay. So we have the max main highlights. So this is now a text value. So we go to, let's remove this one. We come here, we go to the bar charts, and then we would come here, this color, we just click on it, the FX, right? And we come to the rules, field value, and we go to our measure. Our measure is in a calculation here, and we have it in here. So we just select. So there we have it. We've been able to introduce the maximum and the minimum value, okay, based on the max and the main function. All right. So basically, this is the max and min of what we estimated. Now, this is based on lost work days being a what do you call it? A number data type. Now, we're going to do the max. We're going to do the max and min of age groups. Now, this age group is not based on a column that has numbers as a data type. This is simply count of occurrences or count rows. So it has a different way of estimating max and min. So let's start off with the argument. All right. So with this one, let's start off with, let's bring in the table. Let's bring in the table first because the table helps us to see it clearly, right? Let me remove this one. Okay, let's bring the table. And this table, oops, oh damn, sorry, I changed the other visual. Let's create a new visual. All right, remove this one. And then we create a new visual. So the new visual we're going to be creating is a table. Okay, we click on a table. And then we bring in the age groups. Okay, the age groups. And we bring in total injuries, which is a count, right? Now we're going to estimate the maximum and then the minimum. So first and foremost, we create a new measure and we say max of age group. Oh man, max age group. Okay, now this one is a different argument. We first have to summarize the table because we need to create a new table where we can count the rows again. So we're going to summarize the source data, referencing the source data, the part age group. Okay, the source data age group, and then we're going to create. So we're going to close it. No, we don't close. We continue. We're going to create a new sort of column. We call it max. We call it max age group. Okay, let's call it max age group. Okay, and then this department, we are saying it should count rows. So this new column that we've created should count the rows. It should count rows of the source data. That's pretty much it. And we close the argument. So this is the first one. This doesn't give a scalar value. This simply creates a table. So we cannot hit enter. It creates a table. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the max x again, and we see that we want the new table that we've created, which is max age group, right? So the new column that we created, which is max age group, and we close the parentheses. And this one gives us the max value, but we are not done. All right, so let's try to introduce it here and let's see. It doesn't give us the max value until we add a calculate and put a filter context to it to see that we want all. You should look at all of the source data, okay, and that gives us the maximum, as you can see. So we're going to use a switch function. So we're going to do the same thing for the min. All right, so what we do is that we go to the we change this to main max highlights for age group, main max main highlights. Okay, and it's for age group. And now we're gonna introduce a VAR. So VAR, we call this one max age group. Okay, let's copy this whole thing because we're gonna need it for the main. All right, so we come down again and say VAR main age group. We hit the equal sign, we paste it in there, and we change the whole thing to main x, right? And then here's going to be main age group. This one will be main age group, and then we return to sort of lock this variable, and we use a switch function. Okay, and then we start with the argument that if main age group is equal to total injuries, it should return so the same set of hex codes that we used. All right, so let's quickly go back. So we want the hex code for this. That's this one. It should sort of open quotation. We put it in there. And we come down to continue the arguments. Oh, that's main. I should start with the max. This is max age group. Okay, and then main age group is equal to total injuries. Then it should give us, this this one basically. Okay, Control C, Control V, and then we paste it in there. We need to make sure it's aligned properly, or it should give me the one in the middle. So basically this one in the middle. Okay, Control C, Control V. I come here, I paste it in there, I close the quotation mark. Okay, I need to align it properly, and then I close parentheses and I hit OK. So this makes it a text value. So what we do is that let's remove this. We come here, we go to column, we go to basically the column, the colors, we use the FX, we come to field value, we go to data, we go to the calculation where we have it over here, and we choose the other one, main max of age group. All right, and hit OK. So that sort of works it out for us. All right, so this is basically what we have for you guys for today. I have another meet. Let me see if I could just connect and see if some people are going to be joining, because we have a boot camp that start off very soon. So let me quickly join. Maybe some people are going to be joining very soon. So let me just share my screen again. Though I'm recording, let me just share my screen because okay, I'm sharing my screen again. So those who join will just continue. We'll look at what I'm doing. All right. Yes. So basically, we just created our measures. All right, for min and max. Okay. So we are literally done with this presentation or this tutorial. We're gonna move very fast with this one. So this one, let's look at the visuals. I mean, I have the visual open here, or let's go back and look at what we have here. All right. So basically, let's look at this one rather. So basically, the LTI is deeper, MTI is lighter, and then the lightest one. Okay. So that's LTI is the deepest. So let's go to visual. Let's go to slice and let's change it. So this one is the deepest. MTI is the one in the middle. So we already have the head schools. Let's just pick the head schools. All right. So the deeper one and then the one in the middle is this one. Okay. Control C. So that's for this one. And then the lighter one is the main, right? The main. Control C, and then I just, select it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then the spacing, we're gonna make it 80. Okay. We go to visual, we go to slice, we go to spacing, and we change it to 80. Okay, that's okay. And then this one, same thing. So the cut is the deeper one, the burns, right? So let's have a look. The burn is the lighter one, which is this. And then this one is the lightest, okay? And then the same thing, the male is a deeper one, and then the female is a lighter one, okay? Yeah, so that's pretty much what we've done. Okay, so let's have a look at it again. I think we are almost there, okay? Now these column titles, visual titles, we can now change the colors to the deeper one, and we're gonna choose Segway UI bold. I'm gonna do for this one as well. Segway UI bold. And we do for all of these ones. Okay. Segway UI bold. Okay, and then we just have to align them properly so that everything looks cool. So we are almost there. The next thing we need to do is that we need to work on our visuals, right? So the KPI cards. All right, so let's go back and look at what we did. Okay, so we align them to the right. So let's just go to visual callout. We bring it here, and then the font size was probably 40 or something. Okay, I think it's 40, and then the font color is a deeper one. Okay, so let's look at what we did. Deeper, so both of them are deep. All right, and then there is basically the bold one, Segway UI bold, and then the label also is the deeper one, and it's Segway UI bold. Okay, so that's with these ones. So let's just resize them properly because we're not able to remove the background, so we don't want it to be popping up on the side. So let's use a paintbrush to now paste over this. Let's resize it nicely. Okay, control, we paint again and resize nicely. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this as well. Okay, so with this one, we didn't, literally, we didn't align it to the right. So let's go back to the call out value and we align it to the left. Okay, so with this one, we designed the entire card. Okay, so we designed the entire card. So let's go to the visual, go to the core card. Okay, the card, and then the card background, we change it to the lighter one. So there's the lighter one. Hello, Isaac. I hope you can hear me. Everything okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So basically, I started making a video, and I just want to complete the video. All right. So once a lot more people join, then we can get started again. So for now, just have a look at what's happening here as I complete this video, because I was supposed to make a tutorial video. All right. Yes. So basically, we have the visual. This over here, we did not bring in any shape. It was just the KPI card that we worked on. So the KPI card, when we come to the general, we come to effects. All right, let's try to make sure that we select the same color, and then we can now make sure the visual border is a rounded corner. So we start to make it rounded. So as you can see, it starts to shaping up a little bit. Okay, so let's click on it again, go to formats, go to the general, go to effect, go to the visual border, and then let's make it 20. So this sort of designs it very well for us. So what we need to do, we need to remove the border. So the same thing, general, effect, visual border, and let's make the border the same color. All right, so it's not so obvious. So it's the same color, except the fact that we are seeing this white outline still in there. So let's see what we can do with the outline. I think the outline has to do the shape. The shape has a border, so we go to the border and we remove the border. So okay, so it's still there. Let's find what's happening. Okay, that has to do with the background, and the border has been sort of removed. The visual border also, we go to effects and we go to the visual border. Also, the border is the same color. So that's how it's showing for now, but we'll see if we can get rid of it. So let's go back to what we did here. Basically, we introduce a line, sort of a column chart of the incident type. So basically, we would have to insert another measure, and this one we are going to insert a cluster column chart, and this more like time intelligence analysis. So we're going to bring in our calendar table for the month. Now, what we didn't do with the calendar table, which I forgot, is the fact that we can remove all of this and only focus on the one that we can create a date hierarchy. But in this project, we are not going to be doing any filtering, like drilling up and down across multiple times or periods, like from month to quarter to year and all of that. So it's okay, we can just ignore for now. But in subsequent projects, we would probably do a date hierarchy so that we use it to draw up and down. So that is what we have for now with just the month, sort of column chart, and we just bring them here. So we need to sort of align this to the top. So let's go to the callout value and then the layout, and we take it to the top a little bit, and then we can bring in this one. All right. So with regards to this, we need to clean up, the look of it. So the X and Y axis, we need to remove the title, but we can only do that when we make it bigger so that those features will be active for us to work with. So we're going to remove every value around it because we are only putting in the KPI card, right? So the value for the X axis, remove it. We go to Y axis, remove the title, remove the value as well. We go to general, we go to effects, and then we remove the background also, and then we can bring it in here. Remove the chart title as well. Okay, so this one can be resized nicely to fit in, and then we change the color. So this one is the deeper one, the deeper color. So we come to the visual, we click on the visual so that it's active, and we come to the columns, and then we change the color to this one. So that's pretty much what we did. Okay, the only difference we are seeing right now is the fact that we are not using a rounded shape, because this card is not allowing us to remove the background. The old KPI card could allow us to remove the background, but for some reason there has been a new update and the old KPI card is gone. the new one that we have, we are not able to remove the background. We've done everything. We go to effect, we toggle off the background. It doesn't, vanish. We go to the card itself. We come to the background. We toggle off the background. Okay, we toggle off the background, but it is still there for some reason. I mean, if we change the font to the callout value to, see this one, you see now this background, even if we bring in a shape, and then we sort of want to put this behind it, right? We go to format and, send it back. You see that the shape is not transparent. I mean, this whole thing is still not transparent for some reason. So this is a defect with the new callout, visual that we have, the new KPI card visual that we have. And I don't know why we are not able to remove the background. So that's like what the challenge is. And that's the reason why we are using the rounded square, or the square with a rounded border or whatever. Okay. And I think that we can still do something about it in terms of making it round, which we've already seen that when we come here to the card and we go to the border, we could make it rounded. Where did you see that? Maybe we come to effect, visual border, and we turn it on. We can sort of, make it rounded, but it still doesn't work. So we're gonna leave it like this for now. So that's the reason why we are having it in this shape as opposed to the round. So this is still not bad anyway. So what we are going to do next is we're going to bring in our icons. So with the icons, we want to introduce a blank button like this, because the reason why we are using a blank button is because when we introduce those images and we populate them here, sometimes when you export as PDF, it distorts the location, distorts a little bit. So it's better we put the images within a button that will keep it fixed. So with this button, we want to remove the border. So we come to effects, and then the border has to go. So let's we go to style. Okay, and then we remove the border. Okay, so the border is gone. So what we're doing is that we come to style and we, basically go to icons, and then we choose a custom icon, and then we bring in the images. So we already have our images here. So I think the first one has to do with, let's just bring as many as we can. I think one of them is this one. So this one will probably be for this. So Control C, Control V, we bring it here. Let's look at the visuals clearly. You have this one, we have this, we have that. Okay, so let's quickly continue. We come to the icons. We just click on Browse, and then we select the next one, which is this one. Control C, Control V, we bring this one here, and then we would select this one rather. Control C, Control V, and then we would select the other one. Which one is it? Unsafe, percentage unsafe condition. Okay, so we're just gonna align them properly. So go to format, align, put it in the middle, and that is pretty much it. So we're gonna do the ones for this one. So assuming you have a lot of pages, we could then do the page navigation by just giving it an action that needs to be taken. For example, if I have it here and I go to style, I come to action, I click it on, I can say you should go back, or you should go to the next page, or you should go to any other page that we will select here. But for now, we don't want to bring it in action because you have just one page. But let's try to bring in those visuals that we introduced. So let's go back and check from our project. So basically, we could see that there's a hover effect. So that's the best we could do for now. All right, so we're just going to bring in all of these visuals. The first one is going to be the default. So the default is the lighter color, and then the hover effect is going to be the darker one. So let's bring in all those visuals. So default is already set here. So it's already set at default. So we're going to go to icon and then select these icons. So this one is the first. Okay. We position it nicely. We can actually copy all of them and then we can align them straight away. I think there are a total of about 4. So we select all of them. We go to format and then we'll distribute them vertically. Okay. And then we just bring in all the other visuals. So the next one has to do with I think the home, the analysis, and then the help icons. Okay, so the home. Okay, the home. Then the next one is analysis. So that's like a bar chart, right? And then this is just a help icon. So all of these stuff you could hyperlink them. You could put some, some links into them so that when people click on it, they can land on a particular page where you want to give them support. So we can quickly do for the hover effect. So there's some of the things we can do to make the navigation bar very, sort of exciting to see, and also create some attention whenever you click on a particular page. You can use a different color grade or whatever. Okay, so this one is just like the lighter and the darker one. Okay, so that's what how it looks like. Okay, I think I brought in the wrong visual, so let's select the right one. That's for this. And then the same hover effect is there. Okay, and then we bring in all of these stuff. So this is for the home. This is for the bar chart. And then this is for the question mark. So we bring in all of these stuff. So we've been able to replicate this dashboard as we can see. The only thing missing is the fact that we've not brought in the filter. So the filter is to sort of we are going to use it to filter the report, and that is from our dimension table. So the dimension table is already here. So we're going to select it. We're going to select this one. Okay. And then we'll choose a visual for it. So the visual we're going to use is the filter visual, right? This one. All right. And then we go to filter setting or the slicer setting, and we want a drop down. So that's basically it. So we can size it nicely here so that you use it to filter the reports. Okay. Yes. So let's see what we can do. We can filter out the blanks. So basically, when it comes to this stuff, you can always filter out the blanks. You can say that you don't want to see blank in the report, in the filter. So the blank is not in there. Okay. And then there are also, other effects you could introduce that you want people to be able to select multiple stuff, or select all could equally be there. So when you click on it, you could select everything. So there are, settings you can do to the filter, and then we could change the color. So let's go back and see what we did. Okay. So we remove the title. We remove the title. We go to property, the visual slicer header. Remove the slicer header, right? And then we just change the color. So the color, we go to, property, effect. Okay, the effect side, and then we just choose this one. Okay. Okay, I think we didn't use that. We rather focused on the visual, the value, the background here. Yeah, it was the background we used. Yes, that's what we used. And then the color is going to be maybe white. Okay. Yes, that's what we did. Okay. And the next thing we're going to be doing is to introduce our filter, clear filter icon. So we could use any of this. Control C, Control V. We will bring it here, and then we could, basically go to style and then go to icons, and then we choose the we choose the icon that we're going to be using. So we already have icons. So all these icons, we get them from, flat icons. So if you are looking to use a lot of icons, you can always go to flat icons, and these icons, they actually help you to, they have the feature that allows you to give it the color that you want that will match your dashboard. So basically, we've been able to replicate this dashboard. As you can see, everything is dynamic. Okay, everything is dynamic. So the important things that we need to be aware of is the fact that whenever we create our visuals, we should be able to bring a lot more insight. The advantage of Power BI is the fact that you can highlight a certain trend within your visual or within your chart. So what we see here is that we've been able to highlight which one is the maximum, which one is the minimum within our visual. And then we could do a lot more other things to make it look nicer. Okay, so the only challenge we had with this is that there has been a new update to Power BI, and for that reason, the old card is no more available for us to use. With the old card, you could remove the background and put a shape behind it so that, we could play around with the look of any type of visual that we are using if you are relying on the KPI card. But this one doesn't allow us to remove the background. So that's the challenge with this one. Okay, so this brings this tutorial to an end. Okay, all right, so the one thing we could do is that we could always publish it to Power BI service, and once you have it in Power BI service, you can generate a unique URL, and this URL is what we can share with our stakeholders within our company that, who are users of our report, or we could actually embed this in any other website that your company uses, or an intranet that your company has, so everybody can see the report, or you could even embed it in Microsoft Teams. So that is the advantage of Power BI as opposed to Excel. All right, so Excel is limited to some extent, but Power BI is sort of corporate solution, and that's an important skill for a lot of safety professionals to have, because you're able to deliver value to your organization, and you have a lot of mastery over, how to calculate various KPIs and all of that. Okay, so I hope that you found this video very, very insightful, and I'm going to see you guys in another video. Bye for now. Cheers.